So I went to see my favorite band, Fishbone, in New York City this weekend. This Friday night, actually. They were playing at the Gramercy Theatre in New York City, which is kind of one of my favorite venues out there, next to like the Highland Ballroom, because it's not too far from the train station. When you get there, there's lots of like the floor kind of like goes down an incline. I don't know if you've ever been there before, Mark.
Yeah, I my dorm building when I was in college is literally like across the street from there.
Oh, okay. Yeah, really? It was across the street?
Not across. Well, it's across Lexington.
Okay.
There's a building on the corner of Lexington, which is like the cross street where the theater is, and it's right there. It's called
Yeah, because the theater's like kind of on a corner. But yeah, it's like I've been there about 4 times now, and it's pretty awesome. And last time I saw Fishbone was actually there in 2014.
Yeah. I used to go see. There used to be a movie theater. It was like a MoMA.
That's probably why it's set up like that, because beside the floor seating, behind it there's like a movie theater style seat, so you can sit back there and watch the band if you don't want to get like in the pit and everything like that, or what have you.
Can I give you one more interesting fact?
Sure.
That's where they shot the video for what is it? "Killing Me Softly" by the Fugees. If you watch the beginning, they're like outside a theater and stuff.
Oh,
it's that movie theater.
Interesting fact. Thank you, man. All right, so yeah, take that to the bank, you guys. So Fishbone, actually one of my favorite bands, and they were promoting a couple months ago. They're like, all original members are back. We're going to be touring the Chim Chim's Badass Revenge album from 1996. But when you read the fine print, you find out that the 2 original members that are like, pinnacle to the group, Chris Dowd and Kendall Jones, they're not in it. It's just just 2 other people from the Chim Chim's Badass album when they were a 5-piece. So it's like you're getting the original drummer Fish, and you're getting John Bigham, the guitarist that joined the band in like 1989, something like that. Felt a little gypped. Okay. Like, I want to see the original members that were, really hone their sound, because to be honest, Chim Chim's Badass Revenge, that album it's not that great. There's a lot of like long songs on there, like 8 to 9, 10 minute, 8 songs. Like there's like 16 tracks, whatever. A couple like interludes, whatever, like that. They're like 18. No, they're 8 to like 7-minute songs. They kind of like, drag, but there are some good songs in there when you really piece through it. I actually sat on getting that album until like my ex-girlfriend bought it for me. Like I would say 1998, she bought it for me. And then I was like, cool. But then when I found out they were having the original members and Fish was back, who I hadn't seen play since I first saw them in 1997, I was like, you know what? I'm going to the show. So took the train out there, got there, and my usual ritual when I go to New York City every time is I got to get myself a lamb gyro, thanks to our co-host, Big League Stu. He actually turned me on to getting gyros there because he loves eating all the time. So he's like, you should get the gyro. I'm like, I think I'll get a hot dog instead, because you have stands everywhere. Like, yeah. And he's like, get the gyro, man. So I'm like, all right, I'll get a chicken gyro. And then he's like, no, get the lamb one. Got the lamb, never turned back. So every time I go there, I get that same thing.
It's funny that you say that, because on the way here, I was like, man, you know what I could use is those Vietnamese egg rolls that he used to eat all the time.
Yeah. So I get to the show, and it's not a big deal. I get there, and then we're waiting. The opening band, it's called Ache. Okay. And they're like this intensely hardcore band that just like, when you get to a show, I notice that like when it's really hard to be the opener. I know you've been in bands before, Mark, so you know how it is. You're opening and no one knows you. Yeah. They're waiting, either keeping their energy for the actual headliner, or they're just not even there yet. So it's just like, get there, you're using all your intensity for like, nobody. And the fact that they were a hardcore band opening for like a somewhat ska band, it was kind of weird. So everyone's standing around like looking at them, but they're tearing it up on the stage, man. And then eventually I'm standing there watching, I'm just kind of like, yeah, this is cool. And then all of a sudden I get bumped in the shoulder. I look back and there's like, 2 people attempting to start a pit, and they're circling around, getting on each other's shoulders and running into each other. So they eventually pull the energy out of the crowd. So Ache was like a really good band. You guys, they were killing it for the most part. So hopefully, they said they have a new album. Maybe we can review it and tell you guys how we think of it. I don't know how you feel about, like, you know, when you go to shows, Mark, if you ever, like, if you, like, ask for set times to know when you do that, or you do want to see the whole, like, you know, thing? Because I like to see everybody, so I know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not that big. I just try to get there as close to the beginning as possible, usually. Yeah,
so the first band was pretty good, and then once Fishbone got on there, they come out, and then they're playing like a couple of they don't like what people are doing now. I notice when they're doing like their touring the whole album, which I love, by the way, like when they do album tours, because it's like I know exactly what you're gonna play. You're playing the songs I like, and best of all, I get to hear some songs I never heard you play before. Like with Chim Chim's Badass Revenge, that album, there's songs on there I never hear them play live. Probably like I never heard them play any of those songs live before, except for like one song, but that's neither here or there. But they come out, they're playing their songs and stuff like that. Not from the album first, but what they do is they play like different songs, then go into like the album, and then do like a closer. I know some bands are doing that now, and like they're playing like the stuff I normally hear, and the people are like getting into it, skanking like crazy, like because every Fishbone show you go to, you guys, like they can get the energy out of the crowd. So if you have not experienced them live yet, you know this thing right here will tell you if you should do it now or not. And they're doing their thing, and one of the things I was kind of worried about is I've been noticing as they're getting older and older, like their set lists kind of stay the same. So I've been kind of like when they would come back around town, so I would kind of like skip it. Like that's why I didn't go to any ones in between 2014 and now. And when I got there, the only reason I'm at this show is because I haven't seen original members in a while, so to speak. And they're playing, and then all of a sudden, like, you know, they go into this song called Swim, and that's when the place just went off. You know, that's when that it's like a classic like simplistic moshing song, and once they play that song, like, you know, just like the crowd is going crazy. Actually, even at that point, I've been kind of worried about, even because Angelo is the lead singer, is one to like stage dive. He's been doing it for like many years, and he like eventually, like, you know, did like a little, like a, not a stage dive, more like a crowd surf. He like kind of just jumped into the crowd, and I was like, yeah, that's awesome. And like high-fiving people, you know, that are singing along the song. There's a guy like two over from me. Like, you know, every time a song went in, he screamed the next song, and they're like, how do you know what the next song's going to be? Because obviously, you know, you said this to, it's like, God damn, this guy's clairvoyant, you know? But, and we're singing along the song. There's people to my left and right that, since this album was not that big of a seller, they're just standing there watching it, and like, they don't know when to jump and when not to. But I was running the rally, man. Like, there's the parts that jump up and down, there's the parts to sing along to. I'm pointing at them, singing the words, they're singing back to me, you know? And then, so they're playing a song I never heard before, and it's pretty heavy. So what I think actually that Ache band, and then the second band that played was called like No Redeeming something. I can't remember the name. I'm sorry, you guys. But they were kind of heavy too. So like I think that got Fishbone in the mood to like just play some like, you know, more like aggressive like metal stuff. And one thing I can honestly say about Chimney's Badass Revenge as opposed to nowadays is it's like the last heaviest album they did, despite the fact that they lost, like, you know, two of the founding members of the group. And it's, even though it's not that good, the only compliment I'll give that album is it's like it's at least they're still trying to do the metal direction that the band was heading for. You're like,
you wrote about the rock star, and here we go.
You're like, like Mark, have you ever been a fan of Fishbone? Like, I remember.
I know one song. Party at Ground Zero.
Yeah, and I'll get to that in a second. But so they played all those songs, and then from Chim, and it was the crowd. It was just a great show. And honestly, I'll say that I think having Fish, the original drummer, back is like what gave some life back in the band. So like, you know, they were really on point, and especially mixing with the crowd. I obviously think it was an absolutely amazing show, and I definitely hoping they get some more original members and do more album tours. But more importantly, I think they brought it back to me again. I will see them anytime they come around to the tri-state area.
That's good.
Because I was like, this is my seventh time seeing Fishbone. Not my seventh Fishbone show, but I had this thing when I saw them open for like the Slightly Stupid in 2011. I'm like, I'm done seeing them open. They have to like headline shows from now on, especially because they have half-hour sets and the crowd's like, who are these guys? But then then when I started seeing them play their own shows, they just seemed like not as energetic as they were in the 90s. Of course, you guys are going to say like, well, they're like 20 years old at that time. Now they're pushing 50. They're going to be kind of like, you know, standing still and playing as opposed to like just leaping into the crowd every second. But they brought as much energy as possible that they can do. And I'm saying I'm definitely going to go. And if you guys never seen Fishbone before, drop what you're doing, see what, because I'm about to ruin. No, drop what everything you're doing and look for them coming to your town, because they're probably one of the baddest bands out there, man.
Right on. Right.
So, Mark, you not only said that you only know one song, you never saw them live before?
Yeah.
Okay. What the hell? What the hell? I must have told you about them like 75 times in my life since we met, I should say.
You know, I'm just like one of those up individuals, you know, who really just doesn't give a about seeing Fishbone.
Well, I guess I got to keep working with you, and I'll change your ways.
I'm crazy like that.
You are crazy, man. You're a wild dude, man.